the SZ had 4 variations, but they were all very much development. So the pressure to get the design right at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's tooling that's a problem. You put, I mean, the cost of tooling a car body is well, it can. I mean, when you think about it, if it goes wrong, you've pretty well wiped out the company. You know, you have, because if no one's buying.
How did that pressure feel? Well, when they said to you, "You're designing the next Rolls-Royce." This is why,
although styling design is was very small at Crewe, we were one of the few departments that really had virtually daily contact with the managing director, because we were in what they called the top corridor, where the director could walk down and just come in and see where you're up to, because they knew that they knew this is so important.
How long did you have developing it? Did you feel by the time it went into production, did you know this will work?
Oh yes. I mean, I think that's, you got past the stage of gambling. See, you can, again, you've got to be careful what you say about other companies, really, because a lot of it can be quite unfair or inaccurate. But I mean, that there have been big companies that have brought out styles which the public have never really taken to, and they end up with a massive marketing effort.
Yeah,
and discounts, and it goes on and on. Yeah, because in the end, you're stuck with the tooling. You can't retool a car. You can't. You know what I mean? It just can't be done.
As you say, it would have been the end of Rolls-Royce if a car.
Yeah. So although at times you think some of these directors, or particularly the managing director, you think, but I take my hat off to them, frankly, because the responsibility, and I guess my boss Fritz Feller, who wasn't actually a car designer as such, he was an engine designer, but he had that, he was a refugee from Central Europe, and he came into the country as a boy, and I've heard it said that people from his part of the world are some of the cleverest people in the world, and there's no doubt that Fritz understood the market. He understood what people wanted from a Rolls-Royce. He was Rolls-Royce. You could cut slices through him like a stick of rock, and it would keep saying Rolls-Royce.
How?
He just
innately knew.
Apart from anything else, he owed the country in his mind his life. We took him in.
Yes.
And he latched on to engineering. Just a very clever man. But he didn't do this sort of stuff. He very kindly once said to me, he employed me, so I owe him everything. But he actually said to me, "You don't need a manager, you need an agent." And that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, actually. And he meant it, But we had our moments of disagreement on aerodynamics and things, because making a smaller car, he almost refused to get involved, which is risky for him.
But he was probably right.
He was right. He was right.
In the end, they didn't actually build a small.
I didn't disagree, but I was so driven to actually do a car, really from scratch.
Yeah.
I inherited a lot of stuff on the previous car, not all of it, and by any means, but this was a chance to do something completely new and to use clay modelling, which we hadn't been allowed to do up to then. So I was slightly selfish from that point of view, but he was right about the size, and to show his contempt for the whole idea, he actually made us take the car you've got, and this is true, to cut 6 inches off the back end, literally bandsaw the back of the car, and show that to the director. Say, well, there's a smaller Rolls-Royce. I mean, can you imagine the nerve of doing that to some big boys, And we did that, but it was a nonsense. But he just thought it was a waste of time,